Queen versus Rook Endgame. We are using Chessable's course here by Rookshelf. And as it says, it is about to master the tricky Queen versus Rook Endgame. And yeah, the course basically is teaching us the main patterns that we will see in these type of endgames, and the author refers to them as formations. Then how to identify these formations correctly, and when do we need to do waiting moves and so on, how to exploit stalemates as the defending side. And we already went through the brief history of the endgame in part 1. And yeah, we have 130 trainable variations. We are going through the short course, which has around 70 trainable lines. So yeah, we can just jump right into the review section. And the review is about the variations that we already did and where I had some kind of problems to solve them correctly. And this is so nice about Chessable. They will always present you the material where you had difficulties with. And so you don't have to repeat the stuff over and over again that you already know. And with that as the introduction, we jump right into the reviews. I'll take a quick look if this comes up all right, and you can see everything well. Looks good to me. Which means we can just go right away into the reviews here. Okay. Yeah, this is the Philidor's position and white to win. And this is the triangulation to get the king to the c8 square so the rook cannot move out of the way later on. Check. Check. Now first the waiting move, so he has to move basically. King move, and now the forcing move for the win to get the rook. This is all right, and we go to the next variation. This is the pin mate, and the pin always goes with the check of the king here. And now I think we have to bring our king to the right position, and that is c6. Yes. And now basically we have the mating ways shown with the red arrows here. So every other way to step our king out of check would have delayed the win by at least 17 moves. But here we have the pinmate position, so it's made in 2 moves after king c8 or immediately after king e8. So glad that I remembered these variations. And now we are black and we have the corner stalemate. Okay, if this is the position that we have, it's an easy stalemate with the for the black pieces, and that is check. If the queen takes, it's stalemate, so not allowed to take. Check if the king takes, it's a stalemate, and now we have this. He's forced to take and or go out of the way, and we'll take the queen. So this was a nice way to draw the endgame for black. And here we have Berger's draw, or the Berger's draw, and for that we have to move the rook back and forth, checking the king. If the king moves to the f file, we can just go to f7 and get the queen. So he's forced to come close. And now again we have the stalemate trap waiting, and that is rook to h6. Yes. If he takes, stalemate. If he doesn't take, we take the queen and draw. Okay, those were the review sections, and I'm now next to you here for spaced repetition in 7 hours and 32 minutes. So also when I don't stream, we'll have the reviews, and I'll do them, and otherwise they'll just pile up. Okay, so learn, and we go. What did we already cover? We already covered the introduction with the history and statistics and so on. We got the essential knowledge in, where we did the review sections from. If something is grayed out, then it's because we are doing the short course and not the full course here. I maybe switch later on to the full course to even drill it in way more. Okay, we had this is repetition for me. We had the Philidor's position, corner stalemate. We did that in the review. Ponziani's draw, which is close to the Burger's draw. Then we had the protected fork. I remember that. Third rank defense. Yes, to bring the rook in the diagonal with the opponent's king. Harpoon pattern, pin mate, near Philidor's getting to the station. Shared diagonal. It was shared. Okay. So, and the distant rook chasing and the distant rook guarding. Okay. So now we are coming to the formations, and here I'm of course curious what we are going to see, and let's go. So as always, I start reading. Introducing formations. A formation is my term for a particular arrangement of all four pieces relative to each other. Formations are my way of making some sense and order out of the complexity of this ending. They are constellations to help us navigate. This chapter documents the formations I have identified as being the most useful. It's a subjective opinion. I could easily have added even more or dropped a few of the less instructive ones. I've aimed for a balance. Each formation should be easy to identify and add some useful knowledge without information overload. There are some key elements to know about any formation. Identify it correctly. Every formation must be easy to spot without much risk of confusion. If you reach a position and think, oh, this is the XYZ formation, but it's actually a slightly different arrangement of the pieces, trying to apply what you know about XYZ might do your chances more harm than good. Second, be aware of approximate winning distances. You should not try to memorize these exactly, but it can be useful to have a rough idea of how far the stronger side is from winning if both sides play close to optimal moves. No basic strategic ideas. For some formations, this is too difficult, but for others, it's possible to derive some general concepts. 4. In some positions, remember an exact sequence. This endgame is mostly about calculation and concepts, not memorization of lines. But there are some critical positions where it's helpful to remember a sequence of moves. Okay. So, formation terminology. I've adopted a consistent method of naming and orienting individual positions in each of my formations. Naming convention. Every possible position in a formation has a unique name based on the side to move and the square of the defending king. I use the three-part naming convention: side to move, defending king square, formation name, instead of white-black or attacker-defender as the side to move. I prefer to just use the remaining piece that side has. Queen to move, aka QTM, and rook to move, aka RTM. Okay. Side to move, defending king square, formation name. Okay. A good example at this stage of the course would be Philidor's win, aka the Philidor, which was covered in the previous chapter. You will learn later in this chapter that the Philidor arrangement of pieces is one of my formations. I call it the shield. The defending king is on b8. Yes, so Philidor's win starts out as a queen to move b8 shield. Side to move, queen to move, okay. Then b8 and formation name shield. Okay, get it. And a few moves later, when the same board position is reached with the defending side to move, it's a rook to move b8 shield, or RTM b8 shield, to save myself a bit of typing. Yes, I remember that. Okay, good. If you don't, just go back to part 2, I guess. That's where we covered it. Yes. Okay. So, orientation. Each formation position is oriented so that the defending king is generally being driven up the board, and typically more to a8 than h8. More specifically, A, the attacking king is always south or southeast of the defending king. B, the rook is always west of a straight line drawn between the two kings, or directly on that line, but never east of it. Okay. To make effective use of formations, we need to spot them by any reflection and rotation of the board. To illustrate that concept, let's continue the Philidor example. Here are all 8 possible orientations of the queen to move b8 shield, which is Philidor's win with the stronger side to move, listing the defending king locations clockwise from b8. On b8, we have this one. Can I click on it? Yes. Okay. Okay, this is queen to move b8 shield. On g8, it's the same thing. Let me just check. Oh, from here to here, here to there. Okay. From here to here, yes. Queen e5. Here to here. Okay. Yes, I get it, I think. The fun part is just to remember it, of course. Okay. Yes, all good. From a formation perspective, all 8 of these are the same position with the same first move. Every queen versus rook position has 8 possible ways of appearing on the board, except ones where all 4 pieces are on the same long diagonal. Training your pattern recognition to automatically account for board reflection and rotations when detecting equivalent positions is a very important skill for this endgame, and for any pawnless ending. Throughout this course, I point out formations with my naming convention and no further explanation. Sometimes I add by rotation or by reflection for clarity. But identifying the type of reflection or rotation to produce my standard orientation is left as a mental exercise for the reader. Okay. Winning distance diagram. In the rest of this chapter, each page defines a formation and includes 1 or 2 chess diagrams with numbers on them. Each number is the winning distance from the formation position with the defending king on that square. A blank square indicates that the formation is impossible there because some piece would be off the edge of the board. A number in a square indicates that with optimal play by both sides, the stronger side requires the number of moves to recapture the rook or deliver checkmate. Here's a sneak peek at one of them to illustrate the concept. It's for the rook to move shield, which encompasses Philidor's win when the defending king is on b8. We know from the previous chapter that Philidor's position is a win in 5 moves when the defender has the move, and indeed the square b8 in the diagram below is filled with the number 5. Okay. You do not need to memorize these diagrams. It is sufficient to just be aware of the general features. Indexes. Finally, please note that there are 2 index pages at the end of this course that may be useful. You might even find it handy to keep one of them open, e.g. in another browser tab, while studying the course. They are quick reference, describes all formations and other patterns that I have named. And winning distance shows all winning distance diagrams. Okay, let's open them. link in a new tab. Is it coming up? Yes. Okay. So here we have the anchor, the broom, the cage, the circuit, the forge. Oh my goodness, that is lots of stuff to learn. Okay. The harpoon I already know. The philidor I already know. The pinmate I already know. The plank I don't. Then we have the river. Nope. The scale, the shield, the station. We got that already, I think. Yes. And the tower and the triangle. Oh, wow. Lots of stuff to learn. But that's what I'm here for. Okay. And the winning distances shows. Let's open that too. Okay, we have the anchor. The defending piece is on c7, and from there it's 7 moves for the mate. Okay. Rook to move. Queen. When it's queen to move and when it's rook to move. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Oh, that is lots of stuff to cover, of course. Okay. We jump right into it. Cannot hurt. Okay, we continue. Next variation. And we now have a useful near formation. It's forges. Okay. So, a forge is any position that would be an anchor if only the defending king was shifted 1 square to the west. Okay. This is not one of my proper formations, but I've included its definition in this chapter because it is a useful tool to reach other formations. It clearly makes sense only with the defender to move, because the rook is attacked and not defended. Yes. I call this pattern the forge because it steers the game towards other formations that have a metal-sounding name. An anchor, cage or shield that can all happen very easily. When the defending king is adjacent to an edge, as in our example, playing a move that reaches a forge is often the optimal win. But of course it depends which piece, king or queen, you're moving and the square from which it is departing. When the defending king is further from the edge, a forge is less useful, but you still may want to reach it depending on the situation. Here are the likely transpositions to other formations when the defending king is 1 square east of its anchor square d7. For example, rook d7 check. Okay, here we have king to d7. Is the queen to move? d7, yes, anchor. And now to queen f8 is the rook to move, d7, cage. I probably learned these with the anchor and cage, with the formations. That's what we're learning here right now. Okay, so by the way, why he jumped right to this? So maybe we'll jump up again afterwards. Okay, so rook c1, also an option, is a distant rook best met by a chasing strategy. Queen d6 check, king e8, queen g6, king d7, queen g4, king e8, king d6 threatens mate on g8, and there is no way to prevent it without losing the rook. Yes, okay. King c6 Okay, we had rook d7, king c6. We have the rook to move, b5, rook to move, b5 shield. Okay, here I don't understand why it's b5. Okay, the d7 I don't understand. I go back to the formation terminology. Side to move, defending. Okay, then king square. Why is that the king square on this one? I don't know. We have the rook to move b5 shield. I'm just clicking on it. The rook to move b5 shield. But that was not what it was showing, was it? Rook to move b5 shield. Okay. King c6. Dum dum dum. I don't know for now. We'll find out probably. Okay. Next variation. And here we go. Using formations, decisive and progress positions. So far we have learned a number of piece arrangements that are easily to identify and a few quick winning or drawing tips for each. It's not yet clear how these are going to help us. I hope it will become clearer as you work through the course. Here's a starting guide. The next several chapters are going to introduce theory about each formation. It will not be comprehensive. This endgame is far too complex for that. Instead, we will learn a collection of formation positions that are relatively close to concluding the game. At this stage, I think it will be helpful to classify this formation theory into two categories. Decisive positions, where the tree of analysis is small enough that we should know how to win regardless of what the opponent tries. Progress positions, where the tree of analysis is larger, but we can still be confident of making progress towards one or more possible decisive positions. Okay. So, in a game with no blunders by either side, where the player with the queen knows our formation theory and is using it to guide their strategy, play will typically reach at least one or two progress formation positions, followed by at most one or two decisive formation positions. Okay. A decision guiding checklist. I'll give my subjective classification of decisive and progress positions below. But first, here's a checklist of questions you can ask yourself at any position in this ending where you're not sure how to proceed. 1. Is there a quick tactical shot? It's always possible your opponent has just blundered and made your task much easier. 2. Is there a way... sorry guys. Is there a way to reach a decisive formation position? For example, the Philidor. The others are listed below. Is there a way to reach a progress formation position? These two are listed below. Is there a way to steer the game towards formation positions in general? Playing the side with the queen, you'll be looking for the first question that can be answered yes to guide your move selection. If you are defending with the rook, your aim should be to stay in positions where all questions, especially the first two, have no as their answer for us as long as possible. Unless the quick tactical shot is in your favor, such as a skewer to capture the queen or a perpetual check. Decisive positions. You should be able to win quickly from all of the following positions. The Philidor, both queen to move and rook to move. Okay. Triangles, queen to move a file and rook to move a file, except the rook to move A8 triangle, which is drawn. Okay, and these, we will, of course, learn them. I guess the program will jump right to it afterwards. We'll see. Or maybe not, because we are with the short course. Then I'll take a look at the long course, the full course later on. Grizzly010, guten Abend, hello. This is tough material for me. It's really strange that I'm learning this, but why not? Ich hoffe, es geht dir gut und du lernst auch was oder du kannst es schon. Okay, so we have the progress positions next. You should be confident in making progress towards a decisive position from any of these. Shields, brooms, cages, anchors, scales. Okay, that is the ones that we had to learn here. Full course progress positions. The full course will also cover the following, which the short course omits. Triangles, yes, shields, anchors, rivers, scales. Okay, I'll take it as is for now. Yes, we are skipping this as we are doing the short course. Then we are jumping to the triangles right away. Okay. So, queen to move a file triangles. The A file triangles are an ideal place to begin studying our formations because they establish fundamental technique for finishing off a back rank defense where the two defending pieces are huddled together at an edge of the board. Like this. Our plan is to keep the enemy king contained with our queen and knight jump above it if there is room on the board to do that. Okay. Otherwise, give a horizontal check. Okay, if it's not possible, we give the horizontal check. Here it's possible, so we should go to b7, I think. Continue. Okay, the queen to mate a3 triangle. There are 5 optimal moves here and another 4 that delay the win a couple of moves. My preference is to keep the queen on the b file close to, i.e. a knight jump away from the defending king, as we just learned it. So here it should be b5, I think. Next. Correct. Staying a knight jump away temporarily deprives our enemy of king moves. This is not essential, just something I find useful for consistency. White to play. Okay, so black moves now is rook to h2. And now we have 2 possible variations here. Rook a1, rook c2, rook a2, rook c3, and I smell a checkmate, I think. And only rook c2, giving up the rook, prevents immediate checkmate. Yes, okay. Rook a1 doesn't help. Here, here, here. Yes, okay. So the other move could be rook g2 instead of h2. And that is a6. Sorry. King b4, queen b7, forks king and rook. Not good for black, of course. And that is done by then. Okay. So our move here is after rook h2, queen a6. Okay. There are multiple quick wins here. I prefer to zigzag back to a fork on b8. Yes, I think that is understandable. Okay. White to play. a5 check. King has to move. Our move is b7. Yes, okay, I understand it. Next. Queen to b7. Now the king goes here, we go there, and then, yes, I understand, okay. Yes. Now we have the fork. Okay, got it. White to play, forking, taking. Okay, so it's white to play, and we should repeat this now. So Chessable helps you by putting it into your short-term memory. And yeah, with the short-term memory, there are studies that if you are having it 7 times in your short-term memory, then you will keep it in your long-term memory. Sometimes it's needed to have this longer or more often times. Okay, this works well. Repetition is the key. Yep, very well done. Okay, so now we're at the queen to move a4 and a5 triangles and have an identical winning sequence. Let's look at it, how it goes with the defending king on a4. Okay, let's do, I wanted to move already, but we'll get explanations. It should be queen to b6. Queen to b6, queen b8 is also optimal. I don't care. To get the alternatives, I need to learn one way, so that is all fine. Black's move is rook h3, and now we can just do the same stuff. But how do we get the well, we already have it here, rook h3. I would just play a d7 and we have the fork already. Let's see what happens. So rook h3, rook g3, queen a7, king b4, queen b8, we have a fork. Okay. Rook a2, here and there and there, and that is also winning. Back to the main line, rook h3. We have already seen in the queen to mate a3 triangle that with this position shifted south 1 rank, the rook is easily collected by a queen zigzag up to the fork square. Here there is no b-file fork square, so it's not quite that simple, but it's not much harder either. We will still zigzag, but in a different direction towards the rook. Our opponent will only be able to avoid a fork by allowing a harpoon. We already learned about the harpoon. My move here is queen d4. Okay, hold on. Where were we? We were here. I have to move. And of course I cannot go to... I understand. Okay. But the question is... Nope, doesn't make sense. I'm just checking if we could reach d7 right away. But that is not possible. Okay. Okay, white to play. Alternative. 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 Huh. Did I already forget that while reading? It looks like it. So we just continue with that here. So what was the move to play? I forgot it. Incorrect. So it was queen d4, yes. Queen d4, check. And now we can zigzag. I understand. Okay, until the fork is finally possible. Yes, getting closer to the rook. Yes. Okay, black's move is for king a3. Now we have the harpoon. Yes, looks like it. It's also large one in German, German one or European one. Okay, and here the queen moves to d6 now. d6 check. Yes. Preparing the fork later on. Yes. Okay. The fork is the fastest win by our metric, which is the distance to reset of the 50 move counter by capture or checkmate. There are several alternatives that delay capturing the rook to get a faster checkmate. For example, queen d5 is the only mate in 3 here. Okay. It's made in at most further 5 moves. Okay, take it. Yes, okay, so it's white to play again. So we are going with the horse move away. Then we check and zigzag our way to the rook. And here we have the harpoon position. Got it. And by that we can check the queen and now fork. Yes. Okay. Again, for memory. Zigzagging to the rook. Here we reach the harpoon position again. Check and able to fork. Okay. And it is white to play. Same thing. Check. Yes. Nice. So we now are coming to this one. And according to what we learned, it should be b8. Yes, our usual strategy. And here it is 2 moves faster than any alternative. We'll check why. Now checking and then zigzagging. Yes, continuing the zigzag. The harpoon is being reached. And how can we finish this off? There's no obvious way to make progress with a check. Instead, we have a nice double threat. Your move is queen to f7, attacking the rook, and an a7 checkmate square. Queen d8 is a couple of moves slower because after, okay, so what happens if he plays rook h4 check? Is that being shown here? And they're playing this, luckily. Okay, now get it. Okay. So black's move is rook h4, and we have what? Now we do this later on. So if we place rook h4 check, then we have the need to go out of the way. There's no stopping mate on a7 or a2. Okay, without losing the rook. He cannot check us anymore, and that's why we are winning. Okay. Okay, white to play. Now here. Now here. Good, and again. Nice. Good. completed. Okay. Now we have the queen to mate a7 triangle. a7, okay. There is no room here for our standard plan of moving the queen up the b file to keep a knight jump away from the enemy king, but it's still a fairly simple win in 8 moves. Okay, so we're starting with a check. Anything else is at least 2 moves slower, so this is the best move. White to play, hit this one. Okay, now we need to read again a little. So, if he plays king b8, our response is king to b5, attacking the rook. And yeah, we just go here again. So we have king b8. Then what would have happened if he played king a8? King b5, attacking. Rook h6, and there are 6 optimal moves here. My preference is, as usual, to zigzag back to a rook fork square. Yes, the yellow, the white squares. b7, yes. b7, yes. f, yes. Queen f8. And there we have the fork, which is really nice, of course. So this is good. And again, he played king b8 instead of king a8. And here we have king b5 attacking the rook. And now we have 2 other moves instead of king b5. Okay, so queen d8 check is equally as fast as the main line. And 2 king b7, king b5, transpose it into it. Okay. So queen e7 is optimal, 1 move faster, but in my opinion, it isn't as intuitive. If you prefer it, note that it tends to reach other formations. Okay, so I don't learn it then. So we're just staying with the king b5. Okay, white to play, king b5. Okay, now he played rook a7. And if he would have played rook h6, we do the zigzagging again to check. And rook a1 gives us a fork on the a1 h8 diagonal, like 3 queen e8. Yes. King b7, queen f7, king c8, and queen g8 with the fork next move. Okay. Instead, we, after a7, play queen d8 check. Okay. It's a white to play, and we are going to give him a check. That was on d8, I think. Yes. So here again, we play check, check. White to play, was it wrong? No, it was correct. Just they make us to repeat and repeat this again so it gets into our long-term memory. Okay. Ah, it's an alternative, sorry. Okay, it's incorrect. What? Ah. I was dreaming, sorry guys. Okay, it was of course this one. But now the check. Yes, so it's check. He moves there. I go here. Check. Okay. And here. And here. Okay. Okay, we have reached the queen to move b7 cage. An important position with a fairly quick path to victory that even grandmasters have failed to find. We learn how to win here from later in this course. Okay. Good. Then if I take a look at the clock, and as we are approaching a new chapter in the book, I think it's quite okay for tonight to stop here. And we are all right. So thank you for following. I hope you enjoy it. For me, this is tough work, sweat work, as it's called in the chess dojo, and it just needs to be done. And I'm looking forward to the reviews so I can further understand and deepen my knowledge for the queen versus rook and mate. And game, not mate. Okay. Have a good night, everyone, and talk to you later. Bye bye.